Okay, now the plight of a KwaZulu-Natal mother who handed herself over to police this week for abandoning her baby is drawing mixed reaction. She claims that she had tried to reach out to social services and never got any help. The 23-year-old mother left her baby in a bush in Verulam, just north of Durban, with a note asking people not to judge her. Now, Babysavers SA is appealing to lawmakers to look at legislation governing the relinquishment of babies in the country. It says the law must be updated to limit the harm to mothers and babies in crisis. Do you agree? Well, let's discuss this now. I'm joined by Nadene Grabham of Babysavers SA for more. Nadene, good afternoon. Welcome to Today on eNCA. Thank you very much for your time. Not such a happy subject at all, the one about the abandonment of babies when we talk about it. But you seem, as Babysavers SA, to believe that legislation has got much to do with some of the challenges in this space. Tell us about that.
Yes, Dan. South Africa was the first country in the world to install the modern-day baby saver, but yet we're one of the very few countries where baby savers aren't recognized, and we also don't have safe haven laws in the country, which means that any type of abandonment, even safe relinquishment, is still illegal in South Africa, and a mother can even face prosecution if she leaves her baby at a safe place like a baby saver or in front of a baby home.
So if the country had done some changes to the laws before, do you think mothers who are really desperate could be given or enabled to deal with their desperation differently?
Oh, I definitely think so. Babysavers South Africa actually submitted a proposal to Parliament about a year ago already. But in the interim, while we're waiting to meet with Parliament to discuss the issue, we've been seeking legal advice and redress on the plight of both abandoned infants and the criminalization of the act of their mothers abandoning them. Our current laws do not provide an option of anonymous safe relinquishment. There is a legal remedy, and Babysavers South Africa are and will do whatever we can to address it. We are pursuing various avenues to legalize safe relinquishment through a baby saver and to change the narrative from abandonment to relinquishment when a baby saver is used.
Do we have baby savers around?
We do. We actually have 35 baby savers across the country. There is 2 or 3 are in the process of opening. Unfortunately, then in urban areas. So we need to network with crisis pregnancy centers and child protection organizations to get more baby savers closer to the rural areas as well. But we have to emphasize that a baby saver should be used as a last resort when the mother's all her options have failed or she hasn't been able to get help, like this mommy in KZN did.
Yeah, and currently no legislation governs baby saving.
Unfortunately not, and we really hope that it will change soon, because in the last this year so far there's been 76 articles published of babies that have been found abandoned unsafely in South Africa, and more than half of those babies were found deceased.
Yeah, so in your view, the question, do we need new legislation, is not the question. The question is, when can we have such legislation?
As soon as possible. That is what we're hoping for.
Yeah, and just for our viewers who might not know, what is a baby saver? Can you just describe it for a viewer? When you said you've got 30 odd baby savers currently. Yes, we understand they're not governed by any legislation, and you are pushing for such so that it enables desperate mothers to have a safe alternative just to baby abandonment. So what is a baby saver?
So baby saver is basically a metal box that's generally built into the wall of a charitable institution, a church, or a crisis pregnancy center. It's fitted out with an alarm that alerts a first responder or a caregiver of the arrival of a baby.
Yeah. So where are you at now, as we conclude, Nadene? Where are you at now with your efforts to push for a change in legislation around relinquishment of babies?
Not nearly as close as what we would like to be, Dan. Parliament has been sitting with our proposal to propose the legalizing of safe relinquishment for almost a year now. We've not really had much feedback from them. That is why we've actually decided that we also need to pursue other avenues to see how quickly we can get these laws in place. And we need safe haven laws in South Africa as well, where a mommy can go to a police station and safely hand over a baby without being judged. And there's a lot of work that is going to be involved. But I think if we collaborate with the correct organizations and departments in government, we can definitely make it happen. Our constitution states that everyone has a right to life. And unsafe abandonment takes away this right of a baby.
Yeah, you're going to have to lobby the right doors, including, I think, social development should be one of them, and the Department of Justice as well should be another department. Nadene, finally, Nadene, I mean, we decided to speak to you because of this very sad story recently of a mother in KwaZulu-Natal having abandoned a baby, now handing herself over to police. What would your message be to mothers like this, and what are your thoughts about the arrest of this young mother, 23 years old?
I sincerely hope that the mother gets pardoned. She reached out to those who are employed to offer help to these mothers, and out of desperation, she had no option but to leave her baby unsafely. But I have a very strong feeling that this mother didn't leave the baby there and walked away. I'm pretty sure she was hanging around to see if somebody finds her baby, because that baby was very, very well taken care of. And I want to urge mothers, there's such a big network of nonprofit organizations that can help these mommies when they face desperate situations like this. But we also need to call out the fathers, because quite often the mothers of these babies are abandoned by the fathers. They also need to start taking responsibility for their actions.
Nadene Grabham, thank you very much. Of course, she's from Babysavers SA. They are calling for new legislation or for lawmakers to look at the current legislation that's governing the relinquishment of babies in South Africa. Thank you very much for your time here and on today on eNCA, and also sharing with us some views that she hopes that the young 23-year-old mother in KwaZulu-Natal this week, who's now handed herself over to police after abandoning a baby, will be pardoned, because she was desperate. And in fact, she says she knocked on various doors for social workers or social services, and she got no help at all. Hence, she abandoned that baby. But I think consciously she's now handed herself over to the police.